it's tough because I've played for top 100 singles 4 times. So I had 4 matches where if I actually won that match, I would have been top 100. Novak's backhand, I didn't realize how low and fast it goes. Like, I always felt like I'm on the back foot. And same with Roger. Roger can generate so much racket speed. It's incredible.
Hey guys, welcome back to the tennis vlog and another episode of the talk show, where today I'm joined by a college tennis legend, Grand Slam finalist, and someone that would probably have been picking up a few decent results these next few weeks if the tour wasn't on hold. JP Smith, welcome to the tennis vlog. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Abigail. Appreciate it.
So I would have been seeing you in person this next fortnight because it would have been the start of the grass court season. I find it weird how quickly this all became normal, because when Indian Wells first got cancelled, that was a huge tournament, first one to go. Everyone was shocked. But then I think within a week, pretty much the entire clay court season had been cancelled. How have you found it? How have you been spending your time?
Yeah, I was in the States. I just got back from Mexico, from Monterey, and I was in Tennessee, and that's when I got the email about Indian Wells, and I kind of figured, obviously with a lot of other sports cancelling their schedules and a lot of changes being made, I just kind of assumed that tennis was going to be finally there as well. So that's what happened. And then, obviously with tennis being so global and international, it's really hard to pinpoint a new start time, obviously, with so much going on now, and obviously, stuff in America right now, a lot of tension going over there, and, other countries trying to rebuild from the coronavirus. It's going to be really interesting when we start back up for 2020, even if we do.
Yeah, I mean, we can hope for the time being, but it's just a case of hanging on, I guess, and using this time as best we can. So I want to talk a bit today about, your previous results on grass courts, because I know you've had some success during the grass court season. A bit about, I mentioned you're a Grand Slam finalist, making that maiden final beginning of last year. But let's start at the beginning, because in the several years I've known you, I don't think I've ever known how you came to start tennis. So give us the background and how you came to the game to begin with.
Yeah, it's not a great story. I mean, it's not one of those ones where, you can get inspired by it, but it was just from, my first sport was swimming. So I swam from 6 to 12. So tennis was kind of seasonal for me. So when I started when I was about 8 years old, I was in primary school, and I was kind of mixing in with swimming and tennis. So I'd swim in the morning, then play tennis in the afternoon. And tennis kind of got more serious towards, when I was finishing up primary school, and then swimming kind of trickled down a little bit, just mainly because swimming was just so tough mentally, with the early starts, and then, there's not much interaction. You're obviously swimming by yourself. You're looking at a black line the whole time. So I kind of really fell out of enjoyment with swimming, and then kind of tennis kind of took over, where I could start doing squats together with people and started developing a little better. And then, then tennis basically took over when I was about maybe 12.
That's interesting. You see a lot of players that have done different sports to begin with, and then they've kind of decided to go with tennis. So a lot of players have quite an athletic background. Your journey, I guess, several years later actually led you to play college tennis, which is becoming all the more popular. And you were there a while ago, so maybe your success there had some impacts on other people choosing that route. But I know you reached the doubles and singles #1 ranking. So how did that experience benefit you? Was it helpful then transitioning to the ATP tour? Did it give you the confidence that you needed to take that next step?
Yeah, I think you pinpointed it right there with confidence. When you finish high school, it's a really tough transition, because you're sort of an adult, but you're not really an adult, but people expect you to be an adult, if that makes sense. And to be honest, I definitely wasn't ready for the tour. Like, I'm from a small town here in Townsville. It's a big transition to travel the world. Obviously, I traveled a little bit with juniors. So obviously, I played all the Grand Slams in juniors. But, to do that full time and to basically put all your eggs in one basket and go out and do it, it's a really tough sell for me. And I was very fortunate enough to get recruited by a lot of good schools in America. And, Tennessee just was the best fit. Big credit to the coach there who recruited me, Sam Winterbottom. Obviously I owe him a tremendous amount of thanks and praise for taking a chance on me and letting me play there and compete there. And to be honest, without college, I don't think I'd be on the the tour because it just kind of set me up to get better, develop, take care of school as well, prioritize different things, in regards to training and, schoolwork. And with that being said, it's great to finally experience that university experience that you wouldn't get if you just went straight to the tour. Obviously, if you were good enough to, you can go straight there, but I definitely wasn't physically or mentally ready.
Mm. And was it easy to balance the work side of the college with the tennis side? Because you came out with some decent academic studies under your belt. So was it ever difficult to balance the two, or were you really helped with that?
No, very difficult.
Okay.
In college, we were always joking about how it was literally like Groundhog Day a lot of the time. You wake up in the morning, you go lift the team, then you go run to breakfast, and then you have class for about 4 hours, run to lunch, grab something quick, go have team practice. And then in the afternoon, you either, lift, usually we used to do, and then, you go to dinner, and then you study, and you go to bed. And
Uh-huh.
then just cycle through it, That was
Yeah.
the whole fall semester. Obviously, the spring's a little different. You're competing a little more, which makes it even harder because you're away so much more. So you really have to balance and, make the most out of those, hour slots that you get that are free, or the 30-minute slots to either do some study or even catch up in some sort of, reading for class or whatever it is, because it makes a difference. Because you add those time slots up in a week, you can probably get maybe a couple of hours in extra study and that you need to do for your exams. And I tell you what, it's looking back and it was a little bit of a blur because it actually was pretty full on. But don't regret it one bit because it just kind of gets you ready for the tour. And honestly, when the tour happened, time management skills were right up there. So it was quite easy.
Yeah, sure. So you went on to the ATP tour. You've been there for some years now. Let's not say exactly how many, but you've had a good amount of experience at all levels of the ATP. You've had some of your best results on grass courts, despite quite the short length of the season. I know that with your game style, you like to be proactive, you like a faster surface, but among all the surfaces, where does grass rank for you?
Yeah, it's up there. It's one of the most enjoyable surfaces. And it's really funny to even just think about when I first played my first Wimbledon qualifying at Roehampton, the
Mm,
speed of the grass was so much different than it was now playing at Wimbledon. And,
okay.
I just find it really fascinating how slow grass court tennis has become a little bit.
Mm,
And it used to be really unique. If you play traditional grass court tennis, you could really get away with, serve and volley, a lot of slicing. But now it's just really changed in the sense that tennis is becoming like this really, I guess, straightforward surface that's speed that's being played globally instead of having, unique speed for every tournament per se.
mm. Yeah. So did you prefer it when it was faster? Because I know you do a lot of serve and volley and coming into the net. Was that an advantage to you when it was a faster surface than it is now?
It was, and it made points a lot shorter. So,
Mm,
and yeah, I love playing on grass. It's that different factor. It's just a different sort of environment and mentality. And, I think a lot of Americans, a lot of Australians, a lot of, obviously the British like playing on grass. And it's really one of the, the seasons we like to look forward to.
So on grass courts over the years, you've also had some good results against rising players, a lot of them Australian. So your first ever ATP main draw win came against Bernard Tomic, 2015 Newport. 2014 in Nottingham at the Challenger, you beat Nick Kyrgios, which is, I'm sure, a result you're proud of. That was straight sets, and a few weeks later, he went on to beat Rafael Nadal at Wimbledon. And then one that I remember particularly, 2017, qualifying for a Challenger, you beat Alex de Minaur, and that was the first time I'd seen him live. I don't recall having really seen him before that. And then for the next few months, I was saying to people, Alex de Minaur is going to be good. And then he broke through in the January. So I give you some credit for that because I went to watch you and I accidentally happened to see him as well. That it's interesting, really, that a lot of players that are doing well now came up against your game on grass and had some difficulties. So what do you think are the kind of things that those players who are so talented really struggled with you?
Yeah, I basically set them on their way, Once they lost to me, they kind of got their head in order and started playing better ball. Nah,
Catapulted
but
them, yeah.
no, obviously two tremendous players. Nick, you always knew he was going to be good. His whole serve, his physique. Once he grew into
Mm,
that physique, and, he's just a very talented player and obviously has, and just very knowledgeable of the game as well, Nick. As if you speak to him about it, he's very, well, really well technical with it, and he's very well educated about tactics. And so he was always going to go on to stardom. And Alex Demon, like, I've never seen a guy with an engine like him. Like, he can go all day, every day. Like, he just backs it up. And then for me, like, that's probably where I've struggled. Like, I can have a really good day, but the next day, I pull up sore. I just can't keep repeating. But he can just go all day, every day, So, but yeah, I think that it's funny. At the same tournament as well at Nottingham. I played them both.
The magic of Nottingham.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad it's not on again. Nottingham suits me really well. You've got that real, like, obviously the grass there is different to other grass. And I actually, every year I've actually been there, I've had some really good wins on there. And I'm really comfortable in that sort of area. It's, British summer as well. The balls suit me as well. So it's actually one of my favourite tournaments.
Oh, good to know. I have to ask you then about a hot shot that you hit a few years ago. That I was in line for the net when you hit this shot, and this has circulated quite a bit since you hit it. Let's see if you remember it. Your opponent hit a dead net cord. You threw yourself full stretch, put your racket underneath the ball, and it drops over. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I got tagged in this on Twitter the other day. Because this has been the time for Nottingham, I guess, the following week. But yeah, like, that was on a break point as well. Yeah, just full lunge. Like, on grass, you don't even worry about the consequences of, like, scraped knees or scraped elbows. You just go. So it was just second instinct just to run in there and just jump.
Yeah.
How it went over, I don't know. Because
it pretty much brushed the net. I don't think your opponent could believe it. That was kind of a little bit of a break.
Like this. He was shocked. It was Luca Vani. He was playing. He was in shock. We actually spoke about it after the match. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't either. It was crazy. So that's probably, I would say, one of your most memorable shots on grass. But what about matches in general? Whether it's a win or a loss, what's a match on grass courts that you've taken a lot away from?
I've had I'd say qualifying for my first Wimbledon was like a really great feeling because I had my parents there as well.
Yeah.
So to be able to walk a Hampton Court and get it done in 3 straight sets, because that was obviously last round qualifying is best out of 5 there. So it's that unique factor as well, being able to get through your first couple of matches, then play the last round best out of 5, and to get off the court, rather in pretty good style, not too much energy burnt. It was a really good feeling, and then obviously a heartbreak following that was that same year I was up 2 sets to love. My first round ended up losing. So, that year was it was good and bad, but obviously you take the losses as well as the wins. So what can you do?
Yeah, absolutely. You can take something from everything. But given, you performed well Wimbledon qualifying last year. You've had good doubles results at Wimbledon. So given that you kind of have this good relationship with grass, and your first ATP doubles final came on grass in Newport. You reached singles semi-finals there in 2015. So was it surprising to you then at all that your first ATP title came on hard courts and also your first Grand Slam final?
Not really, because obviously grass is so condensed in the season. Like, it's only a few weeks. You might get 6 weeks of grass the whole year, unfortunately. Obviously, we'd love to have more of that. And I think, I think if they really wanted to push, they could make it happen, because a lot of countries do have the climate for it. And obviously, it's a lot of maintenance. But, so hard court's my next favorite surface, obviously, with everything apart from that. And obviously, I play well on it just because I grew up on it. College is all on hard court, so I had a lot of exposure on it. Now, one surface I don't really do well on, that's clay. Growing up, didn't have much exposure from it. We don't even have a clay court within, I'd say, a 10-hour drive radius from here.
Oh, wow.
So, so we never really played on it, or especially I didn't either. So, it's not a bad thing, but I try and schedule my tennis around hard courts. So... Okay.
Well, that's nice. You've got to go with what works for you, right?
And obviously clay's so heavy in the season, a lot of clay events around the world, so it's tough. But that's why I play a lot in the States, Australia, and obviously the grass mid-year.
You mentioned Australia there. Let's talk Australia. Let's talk specifically the 2019 Australian Open, which was quite a successful tournament for you in the end because you ended up playing mixed doubles with Astra Sharma. It was her first Grand Slam, if I remember correctly. You reached the final. You beat Jamie Murray and Bethany Matek-Sands and also the number 2 seeds in the semi-finals. So that was a wild fortnight for you. I don't think you'd been past the quarterfinals of a major before. So how was the experience for you, and at what point did you start thinking, hey, we could actually win this title?
Well, obviously I was very fortunate to get a wild card. I only met Astra basically, 15 minutes before we went to warm up together. Because with the wild cards, they only announced it, literally, that night before our first round, So obviously they had the draw out, but then we played that following day. Our first round against 2 other Australians, Jason Kubler and Madison Inglis. And, obviously I've heard of Astra. She was at Vanderbilt and obviously she did really well there. She had a tremendous college, college career as well. And met her, and obviously she's a lovely girl and plays really good tennis. And she's going to be another star of the future as well. She has that build and that work ethic and just that desire as well. And, we went out there and I just told her, let's have some fun, swing away, what side you want to play. And, we played really well in that first round. And then we had a, tough second round, Roger Vasselin and maybe Kleckback. And we got to play in Heisen Serena, which was really cool. We, played them, beat them in a straight. And then, we played Jamie and Bethany, Margaret Court, another good court to play on, and, beat them in straight. And then we played Bruno and Melishar, we beat them in straight on Rod Laver Arena. So we were just kind of just really enjoying the moment and just kind of just taking it one match at a time and having fun. And that's how it basically all went well. So it wasn't sort of a expectation. It was just all about just enjoying, your home slam.
Sure. I'd almost forgotten that you rolled into your first Grand Slam final not having dropped a set. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Leading up to that, obviously every player has goals, expectations, things they want to do in their career. Had you ever considered the possibility of one day playing in a Grand Slam final? Because all the players that have done well enough to get ranked, etc., only a select few of them are ever going to play on that kind of stage. So was it something that you thought you were capable of?
Yeah, to be honest, not really, in the sense that I didn't really think about it. I was just mainly just focused on just getting wins, Grand Slam wins are so hard to come by. Like, any time you can win a match in a Grand Slam, it's huge. It's huge for just the sense, because it is basically the best players in the world all competing under one roof. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great privilege as well to be able to do that and play in a major. So to answer your question, no, I was just taking it match at a time and just really, really thankful. And it's almost like a, childhood dream to be in there playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And given that then that it was a bit of a surprise for you, and I think you just entered your 30s at that point. So, I'm sure there's still a good few years left, but closer to the back end of your career than the beginning. How did that affect you mentally, like going into that final? Was there any thoughts of, this could be my one shot? And did that affect you at all?
Yeah, what's funny, I'm 31 now, but I started late. So I didn't start on tour till the end of basically my 22nd year. So, so I haven't been on tour that long per se, but obviously I'm more older than some of the people coming through now. But no, it didn't really. We had a set point in the first set, 6-5 short juice.
Yeah.
Get it? I feel like if we won that point, you just never know. We maybe could have won that second set, having won the first, or, even if we lose the second set, we play a match tiebreaker for the title, and anything can happen in a 10-point tiebreaker. But, it was a great experience, and obviously great fun playing with Ash, and, we got to play again this year, and we actually lost to Bethany and Jamie. But, but yeah, same thing. I was playing more matches on Rod Laver Arena, than I have, kept being thrown on. We finished one match, the quarterfinals, at 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
So you never get to experience that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of people, I guess, would think, oh, there's much more pressure playing in a singles event at a Grand Slam because, it's just you, there's so much publicity for it, etc. But when you're playing in a doubles event, you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your partner. Both you and Astra had played a fantastic tournament, and I guess there's always that feeling of not wanting to mess up for the other person. Does that make the later stages more tense and more nerve-wracking, or does it enable you to relax more because you're not there on your own?
The thing I've found with partners I enjoy playing with and I've done well with is that you've got to keep it light. You've got to keep it fun. Otherwise, tension can, like you said, tension can really build up and you can really get in your shell a bit. So you got to try and keep it light and keep it fun. Because, at the end of the day, your partner doesn't want to miss and you obviously don't want to miss either. It's not your intention. So you really just got to be light about it. And, that's why I love playing doubles, because you can kind of just enjoy the company of someone else and, look back on it and, build memories, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's great. I was looking at your previous partners. I know you go through kind of longish stints with the same partner. You've made 3 ATP finals, I think, in total. All of those finals you've played alongside a player who's a doubles specialist. Now, you still play singles and doubles. I know there's a lot of ways that partners come together. With you and Astra, I think you were almost kind of put together, but other players you choose to play with them. So is there ever kind of an element in your mind of, if I play with a doubles specialist, I can really go all in here and I don't have to worry that at some point they're going to be on the opposite side of the net to me in singles and kind of know my strengths and weaknesses? Does that ever cross your mind?
Not really. Like, the partners I play with, I get along great with. So it's not as though, it's one of those technical partnerships where it's just tennis and you guys go off and do your separate thing. I like to hang out. I like to go to dinner with my partners. I get along great with them. I played obviously a lot of the years with Matt Reed, who obviously, I feel like he's another brother. We've known each other for so long now, since we were 12 easily. I think that was the first one we met when we were 12. So him, then obviously I got to play a little bit with Ken Skupski and Nick Monroe, and just I really enjoyed just being around those those guys, and just kind of, because you play tennis for a short amount of period of time. The rest of the time you're with your partner, and you want to learn, you travel together and everything like that. So you have to make sure you get along well with them.
Sure. I have to ask you briefly about the last time I saw you, September, was at the Murray Trophy, Glasgow. Jamie Murray was competing at that event, which was unusual for him. Obviously, he was a massive part in organisation. He needed a doubles partner and he went to you. Can you talk about the kind of pressure of that? Because Jamie kind of wasn't even supposed to be in that level of tournament. And therefore, you guys made the final, had a really good run and lost it narrowly. There had to be that thought of, if we lose or if we go out early, it's going to be on my shoulders. People are going to point at me and say it's my fault. Was that an issue for you that week?
Yeah, I take full responsibility. Getting to play with Jamie there, I'll just take all the responsibility. No, but look, he wasn't even going to play it. Like, when I saw him on the calendar, I saw him in New York, and I actually said to him, "Are you playing? Like, are you going to play it?" And he's like, "You want to play?" And he was like, "Oh, no, I'm going to be there, but I don't want to play." So I figured he wouldn't play, because I figured he was doing a lot of stuff during the week, with his mum. He's doing kids events. He was going around to different communities as well, helping out. Obviously speaking to sponsors, telling the LTA like how the event's going. So he was pretty busy. And when I double checked with him, I said, "Are you sure not playing? Are you for sure not playing?" And he said, "Yeah, he's going to play." And then I said, "Well, let's tee it up then." So I was kind of on him a bit about it,
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that story.
Yeah, I was kind of just, kind of begging him a little bit to play, because obviously it'd be really cool. Obviously, I know Jamie well, and obviously he's a great guy as well. So it was actually really cool to kind of play with him that whole week,
Yeah, so you put yourself up to the challenge, which I guess took some of the pressure off. Then it made it more enjoyable because it was your choice. You didn't feel the pressure to oh no, I must play with Jamie at his home event.
Yeah, we had the 6:30 prime time slot every time for our match. So
you did.
It was good to know when you're going to play. It's the first time I knew exactly when I'd play the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, that sort of thing, I guess, is probably helpful because with ever changing schedules, you're not in control of when you play. So I guess it's nice to have some sort of routine.
Yeah. It's a great routine. Yeah.
Yeah. At this stage of your career, I mean, you've been career high number 52 in doubles. You're still top 100 in doubles. Your career high in singles, just outside the top 100. You've had great results there, but I guess it's probably fair to say most of your success has come in the doubles game. I've heard a few people say they rate your chances of being top 20, top 10 in doubles if you were to go doubles only. Is that a possibility that's ever crossed your mind? Is it something you've considered doing?
Well, it's tough because I've played for top 100 singles 4 times. So I had 4 matches where if I actually won that match, I would have been top 100. So obviously that Wimbledon first round, if I won that, I would have got in. Final Vancouver, I was playing Duty Seller, won that match, I would have cracked the top 100. My first round of the US Open that same year, I was playing Yushny. We had a set all, and if I won that match, same thing, would have been top 100. So
Wow.
I've been inching towards top 100. And I just never got there. But I was on the verge of playing for it, and then obviously I love playing doubles. I do well in doubles. I think doubles is more suited to my game. Obviously, I'm a taller guy, left-handed, kind of add a different dynamic. But I just love playing singles and doubles, and obviously mix as well. Like, you name the event, I'll play it. Obviously, even if I'm not doing really well, if people think I'm slow in singles, that's okay, because I'm just getting out there and I just love competing. It doesn't really bother me if they think I should just hang it up because I'm getting older and slower now. I just love getting out there and rallying and just kind of just playing tennis.
I'd like to think it's not because they think you're slow, but because they think, you are particularly doubles talented, which,
they
I
think I'm
agree.
slow, Abigail. You don't need to sugarcoat it. They think I'm slow.
No, I disagree. I think you're great in both when you're on your day. I mean, I remember watching you play Nicolas Mahut in Wimbledon qualifying last year. And Mahut's a player who's had great success on grass. He's won the men's doubles titles at Wimbledon. And you just didn't let him get a look in. And that's what you can do when you're in the zone. But you've had some great experiences in your singles career, not just on the competitive court, but I know you've been able to practice with the likes of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic. What do you take from those experiences? Is that a good learning opportunity for you? And how have you found it practicing with those guys?
Yeah, usually I get the call up if they need a left-hander. They're playing against a left-hander.
Okay.
I get the call up because they either want to practice with left-handed for an hour or they want to warm up with one. And I've hit with Roger a couple of times. Novak, I've actually hit with a bit, mainly at the Australian Open, and just getting used to that different ball speed. Like, it is. If you play against that sort of level, you'll get used to it more. But because I don't play against that level, it really is a different speed and a different sort of linear power as well. Like, Novak's backhand, I didn't realize how low and fast it goes. Like, I always felt like I'm on the back foot, just coming behind balls. And same with Roger. Roger can generate so much racket speed. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So at this point now, you've played in a lot of Grand Slams. If you were in a Grand Slam singles main draw, you pick the Grand Slam, okay, and you have to play a member of the big three. Who do you think you would have the best shot against, and on what surface?
Oh.
Don't write yourself off here. Come on.
We'll leave Clay off the
okay.
the list.
Yeah, that's fine.
If I had to pick the tournament, the time, the court, I would have to go Australia, and I would have to go during the day sometime where it's hot and the balls are bouncing, the conditions are a little more lively.
Sure.
And I need the court. So, I'd probably need like a Hisense or a micro court. Rod Laver Arena just wouldn't be able to do it for me. It's a little slower than the other courts.
Okay.
As it doesn't get a lot of play on it, obviously just for the tournament.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go micro court, maybe put me on third on after 11, around 3:34. Heat wave.
Yes.
And that'd be my best shot.
Okay. But which player though? Who would you want to face?
Maybe to get some games, not to win.
Okay. Yeah. So who would you take though out of the three? Nadal, Djokovic, Federer?
I'd probably take Fed. Just
Okay.
maybe he's up 2-11 in the double break, and he might just throw me a few games.
Yeah. Okay.
Novak
Okay.
and Nadal, I think they'd be ready to pound me.
Fair enough. So I'm guessing then at this stage that you would still take a qualifier round one over a big kind of Federer, Djokovic or Nadal match that you could tell future kids and grandkids about. You'd still take the qualifier right now. Yeah,
like this year, obviously when I won the playoff, I get the wild card into the AO. They had a lot of qualifiers. They had a lot of like good draws, for obviously the wild card as well. I was praying I could get a qualifier. Obviously, it'd be cool to play a big name, but you also want to win. You want to win the first round single, and it would have been great to play qualifier because I've played a lot of those qualifiers before and done well. So
Yeah.
it would have been good to play, qualifier. But at the end of the day, you don't control the draw. So what can you do?
Exactly. Yeah, I think you're getting a bit carried away there with controlling the temperature, the schedule, the player. I mean, in an
Yeah,
ideal
exactly.
world, maybe. Okay, going it forwards then. I mean, you've been on tour a while, you've had good success, you played a Grand Slam final, which was, I mean, something that a lot of players won't ever get to do. So have the goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of your career, have they changed? And what do you hope to achieve within the next, 2 years, 3 years, however long you're still on tour for?
Yeah, this time away from the game's definitely given me an appreciation for how much you actually really do miss traveling and competing. Obviously, you do get over the travel part, but playing the tournaments, being around the people and, other players, you really do miss that. And, I'm just going to, when I get the chance to get back on tour, I'm just going to play it all, just give it all I've got, just leave everything out there, empty my tank because, when it's taken away from you at the end of the day, just say, just stop now. You obviously have a few regrets. And obviously if I just leave it out there, then, hopefully I can leave tennis with minimal regrets. But yeah, I'd be giving it everything I've got once I get back on tour.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that this break then has served some kind of purpose. I think for a lot of players, the grinds of tour and the constant traveling, it can weigh you down, and that's understandable. But when it suddenly gets taken away from you and you've got no control over that, I guess naturally you start to appreciate a bit more what you had that was kind of so normal, but now you realize, it's a fragile thing. It's not set in stone. So, JP, great to talk to you always. Thank you for giving up your time.
Thank you for having me on.
No, you're welcome. Anytime at all. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in to watch this. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, do so that you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you next time.